Hello, how are you? Good? I'm doing very well. Just my ankle doesn't. So nice to hear you live now. I've been listening to you like so much on my recordings. So it's my big pleasure. Did you see some of the classes from Rome last week? The festival last week? No, not at all. I have old recordings. My father sent them me. Oh, he sent me. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dayaswaramani.
It runs in the family. The genes work. Al de niet verstaan.
Paripavana Parmadya Prema Data Padmavati Kumar Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai Prema Purushottama Sachinandan Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Ki Jai Jai Gaur Shikhanatha Premanande Hai 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 Prabhu Daya Prabhu
Prabhu Krishna Krishna Обратно. Erase es nicht. Wo ist eine Frage?
Tasmai Mahaprema Rasapradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Bhaktavina Aparana Lakshay Chitas Bhagavani Karan Namani Kriva Secondly, I offer my pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Parama Gurudev to Srila Prabhupada and to all of us, Rupa Guru Brahma. And finally, I offer my pranam to some Vaishnavas and Vaishnavas.
by the cautious mercy of Sri Guru and Gaura, today we are observing this most auspicious occasion, that is the Tirobhav Titthi, the divine disappearance day of Sri Rupa Gosvami. Sri Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai. Tirobhav means disappearance, and that day we have a festival. The festival is called Viraha Mahotsava, the festival of Viraha, separation. V means Vishesh Roop. V means Vishesh Roop, especially Raha means Rahasya, confidential. So Viraha means a very special confidential meeting, not separation, with Srila Rupa Goswami. And by that, we will get the Maha-Utsaha, great enthusiasm. So that day upon which the devotees have the chance to meet very confidentially with Rupa Goswami in their heart and become filled with enthusiasm for Shuddha Braj Bhakti, pure devotion of Braja. That is called Sri Rupa Goswami's Viraha Mahotsava. Sri Rupa Goswami has been glorified by Srila Nathan Thakur. He said, Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. When will that Srila Rupa Goswami Pad give to me the shelter of his lotus feet? His speciality is that he is the one person who has Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale established within this world the Manobhishta, the innermost heart's desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Try to understand it very deeply. What is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Manobhishta? Manaha means heart. Abhishta, Ishta means desired. Abhishta, most cherished desire. What is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's most cherished desire? Prema rasa nirjas kurite asmata raga marga bhakti loke kurite pracharam. First of all, Krishna has appeared in this world in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to fulfill his three desires that were unfulfilled in the Nikunja Leela of Braja. Siradaya Pranaya Mahima Kirti Shobhane Eva Swadyogi Nadbhutama Jurima Kirti Shobhamadya Sokyam Chasyamadan Bharata Kirti Shamdeti Lobat Tadbhavadya Samajani Sachigarot Siddho Harido. Krishna wanted to know how deep is the love of Radhika, what is the glory of her. Then, what is the sweetness in me that only the eyes of Radhika can taste. Because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. If someone has more love, they see more sweetness. Radhika has the most love, she sees the most sweetness. Hey Prema Twari Nitya Radhika Akali Amara Madhurya Murita Ashwade Sakali. Shri Krishna is the only Radharani. Through the power of her love can taste the ambrosia of my sweetness completely. That was the second. And then, what happiness does Radharani feel when she serves Krishna and realizes his sweetness? So, Krishna came to this world to experience these things. This is the Manobhishta of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Microphone, they cannot hear. Maybe could they use in
No
microphone?
one in this world could understand how deep is the love of Radharani. And Sri Krishna's sweetness and happiness. These things were not known to the world, but it was Srila Rupa Goswami He has revealed all of these things, especially through Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Ujjvala Nilamani.
They cannot hear properly.
So, this is the Krishna's desire, that is the internal reason for his appearance. You can keep it, don't let them be hot. They may be too hot, they may see it.
Even put the speaker right back again.
Oh.
So, is that clear? Mahaprabhu's inner desire is the internal reason for his appearance. And the external reason does not mean it's a material reason. It just means, inner reason means for himself. And outer reason means for others. So that is Raga Marga Bhakti Loke Karite Pracharan. That Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give Raganuga Bhakti. Now, what is the greatness of Radharani's love? That is her Mahabhav, Madanakya Mahabhav, and especially Swasambedya Dasha. Swasambedya Dasha is a very confidential aspect of Radhika's Mahabhav, wherein she forgets herself and her own love becomes the object of her love. Anurag becomes the object of its own experience. So Krishna has no idea what this is like. But no one knew this is why he appeared. So Rupa Goswami has explained all this in his Ujjvala Nilamani in regard to the internal reason. Now the external reason for others. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to give Raganuga Bhakti, spontaneous devotional service. But within that, he wanted to give Anarpitacharim Chirata Karunaya Bhaktinaha Kalo Samarpaitum Unnat Ujjvala Rasam Swabhakti Sriyam Hari Purata Sundar Juti Kadamba Sandipita Sadaridya Kandrais Pratuva Sachinandana. He wanted to give a type of love that was never ever given before by anyone except for himself the last time when he came. And that is Radha Dasyam, the mood of the service to Radhika, following her manjaris, her maidservants. So, how will it be given? Mahaprabhu wanted to give Kevala Madhuryamai Swarasiki Upasana. Kevala means unadulterated, not mixed with anything else. Madhuryamai, complete sweetness. That means this love has no awareness at all of Krishna's Bhagavata, of his godhood, of his Aishwarya. That is a relationship with Krishna, lokik sadbandhu bhat sambandha. A relationship like you love your own family, like you love your own friends, your own brothers and sisters. No awareness of Godhood at all. So, Kevala Madhuryamai Swarasiki Upasana. Swarasiki Upasana means that when you are chanting Harina, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, without any effort at all, the unlimited sweet pastimes of Radha Krishna are coming in your heart like television. No effort. You're not trying to remember. Now I remember this, now I remember that. Swarasiki, natural, flowing, spontaneous. And not in one place, but going from the Kunj to Yavat, from Yavat to Nandagaon, from Nandagaon back to Yavat, from Yavat to Govardhan, from Govardhan to Radhakund, like this. 24 hours a day, spontaneous Radha Krishna's Leela flowing in your heart without any effort at all. Because this Leela is the Swayam Prakash, self-manifested. It's not a human imagination. So, and in that Leela, that you receive your very beautiful Swarup, spiritual form, and serve Radha Krishna there. So, inwardly, Mahaprabhu's purpose is Prema Rasa Nirjas Kurite Yashvana. To realize the glory of Radhika's love, especially the Swasambeja Dasha of her Mahabhav. And outwardly, that is for others, Mahaprabhu wanted to give Kevala Madhuryamai Swarasiki Upasana in Parakiya mood. Love for Radha Krishna, unwedded. Because Radharani is wedded. But Radha Krishna not married to each other, in the Parakiya mood. And following her maidservants. So, these two together are called, the outer and inner aspect together are called Sri Chaitanya Manobhishta. And no one could understand or realize what it was. But Mahaprabhu empowered Rupa Goswami with this, and Rupa Goswami, through his writings, and through his life, and through his Anugatjan, his followers, he established Mahaprabhu's Manobhishta in this world. How is it possible for him to do it? Srila Rupa Goswami is the incarnation of Rupa Manjari. It's very important to understand. Mahabhav Chintamani Radhara Swarup Lalitadi Sakitara Kaya Vyuharup. Radharani is like a wish-fulfilling jewel who can fulfill all the wishes of Krishna. Mahabhav Chintamani Swarup. And Lalita Vishaka, her Sakis, are Radhika's own bodily expansions. Radharani is made of Mahabhav, and she has so many bhavs, so many moods. Each one of those bhavs has taken a murti, and the murti of each of her moods is one gopi, another gopi, another gopi. Her Lalit Bhav became Lalita, her Vishesh Bhav became Vishaka. Like this. In this way, Lalita Vishaka Chittatambakalata Induleka Tunga Vidyaranga Devi Sudevi, 8 Astasakis are the 8 prominent manobrittis. That is the psychological tendencies. Radharani has 8 psychological tendencies, manobrittis. Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So Radhika's 8 main Chitta Vrittis have murtis, deities, and they are Astasakis. Understand? So Radharani also has one mood, and that is that Ye Nari Re Bonche Krishna Tara Rupa Satrishna Tarana Poi Hoi Duki Muitara Paya Padi Hati Loya. Meaning is, Radharani is saying, if Krishna is very thirsty, very greedy to meet with the gopi, but she doesn't meet with him, she doesn't want to meet with him, then Krishna is very sad. So then I will go to the house of that gopi and I'll fall at her feet, and then I'll say, come and meet with Krishna. And she'll say, no, I cannot. I have to do my housework. Don't worry, I'll do your housework. I'll sweep, I'll clean, I'll cook, but get ready. I'll take you to meet with Krishna. Krida karon tarha karon suki. And then she said, and when I bring that gopi to meet with Krishna and I push her in the kunj and she meets with Krishna, then I'll feel the greatest happiness. So that bhav of Radhika, out of prema, out of humility, to become the maidservant of that gopi who can give Krishna the most happiness. What bhav is that? But the wonderful thing here is that that gopi who can give Krishna the most happiness is herself. But her mood to serve that gopi who can give Krishna the most happiness. That is manifest as Rupa Manjari, the leader of her maidservants. Understand? So, in this way, each gopi is one manobriti of Radhika, and this mood, I want to serve that gopi who can give Krishna the most happiness and be her maidservant. So that has manifested. Among the friends of Radhika, Lalita is chief. And among the maidservants who are serving under the guidance of Lalita Sakhi, Rupa Manjari is chief. She is prominent. And just as 8 Sakhis are the Kaya Vyuha Rupa of Radhika, so Asta Manjaris, they are the Kaya Vyuha Rupa of Rupa Manjari. Understand? So Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari, Labanga Manjari, Rasa Manjari, Manjulali Manjari, Kasturi Manjari, all 8 Asta Manjaris, they are the Kaya Vyuha of Rupa Manjari. As Asta Sakhis are the embodiments of Radhika's bhavs, all the Manjaris are parts of Rupa Manjari's bhav. And for this reason, our Sampradaya is called Rupanuga. The followers of Rupa Goswami outwardly and the followers of Rupa Manjari inwardly. That's the meaning of Rupanuga. So, all Rupanugas are Raganuga. That means all those who are following Rupa Goswami inwardly and outwardly, they are practicing Raganuga Bhakti, the path of spontaneous devotion. But all who are Raganuga are not Rupanuga. That means somehow in the path of spontaneous devotion, they may be following the Subal, one of the cowherd boys, or they may be following Madhya Yashoda in this way. So all who are Raganuga are not Rupanuga, but all Rupanuga are Raganuga. So in this way, we have tried to delineate, just touch the subject of the identity, the tattva of Rupa Goswami. Priya Sarupe, Daita Sarupe, Prema Sarupe, Sahajabi Rupe, Nijanurupe, Prabhurepu Rupe, Tatanurupe, Swavila Sarupe. Srila Kavikanapur here said that Priya Sarupe, Rupa Goswami was very dear to Swarup Damodar. Swarup Damodar is Lalita Sakhi. So, as Rupa Manjari is serving under Lalita Sakhi in Krishna Lila, so Rupa Goswami is serving under Swarup Damodar in Gaura Lila. So Priya Surupe, Daita Surupe, he is the embodiment of all the Daya, the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and therefore is Daita very dear to him. Daita Surupe. Prema Surupe, Rupa Goswami is not made of skin and bones. Rupa Goswami is made of Prema. His body is Sachidananda. He has come directly from the spiritual world. Prema Surupe, Sahaja Abhirupe. Abhirupe means beauty. Beauty, Abhirupa is that beauty that anything you come near, that thing you come near takes on your qualities and becomes more beautiful. Not that that thing beautifies you, but you beautify that. If Radharani has a white flower like this, if she holds it by her face, it becomes golden and more beautiful. If she holds it in the palm of her hand, it becomes reddish like the palm of her hand and becomes more beautiful. If she holds it by her smile, it becomes white like a smile and more beautiful. So this is called Abhirup. So Rupa Goswami is beautiful like that. If anyone will come near to Rupa Goswami, they become beautiful like him. And that his beauty is Sahaj. That means naturally Abhirup. Sahaj Abhirupe. Prabhu Nijanurupe. His Nija Rup. He belongs to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nijanurupe Prabhu Ekarupe. He's one with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Tatanurupe. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pervading him with his bhav. The bhavs of Mahaprabhu are pervading completely the body of Rupa Goswami. Tatanurupe Swavilasarupe. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has pastimes. That's Vilas. Mahaprabhu does Vilas, pastimes. But you should know that Rupa Goswami, his life, his activities, his writings, that is an aspect of the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Swavilasa Rupe. How Kavi Karnapur has glorified Rupa Goswami. Most astonishing. So this is the tattva of Rupa Goswami. Now we'll come to his Jivan Charitra, his life history. He was born in 1489, so 3 years after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the year 1489, in the town of Bakla Chandradweep. His ancestors were Brahmins of the Bharadwaj Gotra. They had come from Karnataka, which is on the other side of India, other side, South India. And from the time of his grandfather, his family had been engaged in the service of the kings of Bengal. So by the time Rupa Goswami was an adult, the king of Bengal was, the Muslim emperor was Nawab Hussain Shah. And Rupa Goswami, at that time his name was Dabir Kas. Dabir Kas means special secretary or private assistant to the emperor. So he was a very wealthy person, very powerful person, like the vice president of the empire. At that time, in his youth, he was, for his government service, he moved from Bakla Chandradweep to the village of Ram Kelly. And that Ram Kelly is a beautiful place. There's a Sham Kund there, and Radha Kund, and Lalita Kund, and Vishaka Kund. And one big kund Rupa Goswami had excavated called Rup Sagar. So he was there with his brother, who was the prime minister. His elder brother, we know as Sanatana Goswami, his name was Sakar Malik, his Muslim name. So they had adopted the dress, and they associated with the Muslims so closely they considered themselves to be outcasts, out of sight of the Vedic system, very fallen. The Islamic king and his followers, they're eating meat, killing cows and brahmanas, doing many irreligious things, so they consider themselves worse because we are das anudas, servant of the cow killers and the brahman killers. So they consider themselves extremely unfortunate. At that time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was doing his lila in Navadvip. And from Navadvip, the great scholar Vidya Vichaspati used to come to Ram Kelly, and he was the guru of Sanatana Goswami, from whom he learnt all Tattva Siddhanta and Srimad Bhagavatam. And Rupa Goswami Sanatana Goswami used to write letters to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he used to write back to them also. So the first time they met was when after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had left Navadvip, and he was in, and after he'd completed his tour of South India, he decided he wanted to go to Vrindavan. But along the way, he would go through Navadvip, have darshan of Sachimata, have darshan of the Ganga, and then from there he would go to Vrindavan. So as Mahaprabhu was coming on the way, thousands of people were following him everywhere he went. And he gradually came to the town of Ram Kelly. So at that time, the king, Nawab Hussain Shah, he said to Dabir Kas, he said, "Who is this person they're calling Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?" He was very suspicious because he came with 100,000s of people. Maybe it could be some kind of Hindu nationalism revolution, uprising against the Muslim government. So he was being a political figure, he was very suspicious. So he asked Srila Rupa Goswami, "Who is this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who has come?" Rupa Goswami said, "That very Supreme Lord who has blessed you to become the king of Gaudadesh, it is that very person. And you are fortunate that he has come to your land." He said, "Why are you asking me? You are the king." And the king is the Angsa, like a portion of God on earth, who is empowered by God to rule over the people. So if you look in your own heart, you can find the Praman, who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Rupa Goswami said. So then the king closed his eyes and he thought, and then he said, "Yes, I believe he's the Supreme Lord, there's no doubt about it." So then Rupa Goswami, in the night time, secretly, he went to the house of the Brahmin where Mahaprabhu was staying. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was sitting beneath a tamal tree and a kadamba tree. And Rupa Goswami came with his brother Sanatan. And seeing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they fell on the ground again and again, holding their cloths around their neck like this and with straw between their teeth. Galavastra Kritanjali Vaishnavani Kahate Tanti Trinakori Dandrai Boniskapate Vaishnavera Abhidana Krishna Doyamoy Eheno Pamara Prati Habena Sadoy. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has showed in which way we should approach pure Vaishnavas or Gurudev. Galavasta Kritanjali, taking cloth around the neck like this. It is a sign of humility. If someone is proud, they always, the chest is out like this. But Vaishnava always keeps cloth over the chest and holding it. And it indicates this is the posture of a person who has made a mistake. So we come before the Vaishnavas holding cloth like this. Like in Rasalila when Krishna disappeared, when he came back, Pitambara Dhara is holding Pitambara. It means, please forgive me, I made a mistake. You see? So when we come before Vaishnavas and Gurudev, holding our cloth like this, oh Gurudev, please forgive me. I have made a mistake. What mistake? My whole life. Every moment I make the mistake of thinking I am the enjoyer of this world. I am this body, I am this mind. I am the doer, I am the control. I am making so many mistakes over this. This is how we approach Vaishnava. Very humbly they fell on the ground again and again and they were crying. When the great personalities come from the spiritual world to this world, they hide their personality so that they can do their life and they do their mission. But when they meet another person from that same lila and they recognize them, then they cannot hold their emotions. So now that means Rupa Manjari and Labanga Manjari with Krishna. And Krishna has taken sannyas. He has left everything. He just wants to realize Radhika's love and repay Radhika, because Krishna said, Na pariyam neravaju samyujam swasadukutyam vibudaya shapiva yam mabhajan durcha gaya svinkala samrishtadva pratiyatu sadha. Krishna apologized, oh Radhika, I can never repay you for your loving service. But samrisya tadva pratiyatu sadhuna, I'll try to repay you when I become a sadhu. Pratiyatu sadhuna. When I become a sadhu, I'll try to repay you. Now Krishna has become a sadhu. Krishna was thinking, I am one and you gopis are so many, how can I repay your love? So he thought, if I collect so many souls and I send them all one pointed in the service of Radharani, then I can try to repay a little. So Krishna in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is collecting so many souls and sending them one pointed into the service of Radharani. So pratiyatu sadhuna. So now there's a very emotional meeting of Rupa and Sanatan and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for the first time. And they're crying, we are more fallen than Jaga and Mandai. Matulya nasti papatma na paradina kastana paryapi pilajameki purvei purushottama. There is no one more Matulya nasti papa. There is no one more sinful than me. There is no one more offensive than me. What to speak of, give up my sinful activities. I hesitate to give them up. What else can I say to you, my Lord? We have fallen into a ditch full of stool of sense gratification. Please save us. If you don't deliver us from this world, it will be very hard for you to find a candidate for your mercy. Because mercy means, not justice means when you give what a person deserves. And mercy means when you give something to someone they completely don't deserve it. So Rupa and Sanatana are thinking, we completely don't deserve anything more than anyone else. And therefore, to make your name Patit Pavan successful, and to find an object of your mercy. If you don't give mercy to us, then you'll not find another person like us. We are so fallen, and your name, Patit Pavan, will not be successful. And they were crying. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through Rupa and Sanatan, has taught us the path of humility. If a person wants to enter into bhakti, they'll have to repent like this. They'll have to feel the burning of regretfulness for their life and for their activities, and come in a very humble mood towards Guru and Vaishnavas. So Mahaprabhu said, oh, your humility can melt a stone. You are breaking my heart. Stop. He said, you have been my servants, lifetime after lifetime. So very soon Krishna will deliver you. Have a strong confidence in this. You see, Rupa and Sanatan, they have a position in a royal palace. They are very wealthy. All sense gratification is available to them without any anxiety. But how do they see it? Like a gutter full of stool. This is the anutap, the regret. But what is our condition? You can put your hand on your heart. Take your pulse and see what is your condition. Do you think that money and fame and luxury and a good job and respect in society and comfort and all of these things are stool? Like poison? To be never touched, to never be tasted because it's disgusting? And only a person who has some experience of the exalted spiritual atmosphere by comparison can say that the pleasure of the material world is despicable. So this was the state of their realization. It is despicable. But in their humility, we cannot leave it. So only your kripa, your grace can save us. Krishna tad bhakta karunya matra labaika hetuka pushti magataya kaischit iyam raganug uchate. Srila Rupa Gosvami Pad said, Raganuga Bhakti, this spontaneous bhakti, is called by some Pushti Marg. Like the followers of Vallabhacharya, they call Raganuga Bhakti Pushti Marg. And to attain this, then it is Krishna Tad Bhakta Karunya Matra Labaika Hetuka. The only cause of attaining Raganuga Bhakti is Kripa, mercy. Not your own effort. If a person is living in Varnashram Dharma and they offer the fruit of their work to Krishna, then they can gradually, that becomes a support for helping them enter into Vaidhi Bhakti. They'll have to have sadhu sangha and some mercy, but that the offering of their work becomes a support to enter into Vaidhi Bhakti. But Raganuga Bhakti is a complete kripa, complete mercy. To enter into that. So they are begging from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please give your mercy. And they fell at his feet, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu placed his lotus feet upon their heads. And all the devotees said, Hari Bo! Hari Bo! And Mahaprabhu said to all the devotees, Nityananda Prabhu was there, Srivas Thakur was there, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur was there, Murari was there, Mukunda was there, Vakrashra Pandit was there, Gadardha was there. Mahaprabhu said, now will you Vaishnavas give your mercy to them? And then Rupa and Sanatan were going round, bowing down and taking foot dust from all the devotees. And all the devotees were so, bless them all, Mahaprabhu gave mercy to you, you are very lucky. And they were congratulating them. So Mahaprabhu wanted to show through Rupa and Sanatan how we enter into Shuddha Bhakti. Not by our own power, strength, intelligence, studies or anything. By mercy of Guru and Vaishnavas. We have to cry for that. Guru Dev Kripa Bindu Diya Koro Edasi Trinapeksha. Korona na hoile kandya kandya prana na rakibo. Oh Gurudev, I have no good qualities. If you will not give your mercy to me, I weep and weep, I will not be able to stay alive. Like this. Rupa and Sanatana are the example. And another secret here is that because Mahaprabhu wanted that Rupa Goswami should explain everything about Bhakti Rasa, but Rupa Goswami is in the Madhu Rasa. So some of the other rasas, they're not compatible with Madhu Rasa actually. But all the other devotees, they're in different moods, they all blessed Rupa Goswami, and so he became empowered that he could write about every rasa. Everything in the spectrum of rasa fully. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and then in Ujjwala Nilamani he just focused on Madhu Rasa. There. So, Mahaprabhu said, Sanatana Goswami told him, Vrindavana yata e nahi paripati. This is not the way to go to Vrindavan with many people. And Mahaprabhu later on his journey, he decided, there's so many people following me. When I get to Vrindavan, then the people will think I'm some magician and this is my circus. Madhavendra Puri went to Vrindavan alone, chanting. And Krishna, on the pretext of bringing him milk, came and gave him milk, and Madhavendra Puri saw Krishna. So I will not have this experience if I go with so many people. So he decided to turn back. But he had told Rupa and Sanatan, you should leave your occupation in the government and come and meet with me. Come to Vrindavan. So, after some time, now they had met with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally. Rupa and Sanatan, they experienced extreme vairagya. And Rupa Goswami, he gave 10,000 gold coins to one grosa in Gouda on behalf of his brother Sanatan Goswami. Then the rest of his wealth, he had so much money, he had 2 boats full of treasures. And he went back to Bakla Chandra Dweep, to his birthplace where his family were. And half of the money he had, he distributed in charity to Brahmanas and Pranami to Vaishnavas. And that was half. And then 1/4 he kept with his family, because his younger brother Anupam had a son named Jiva. And that money was to pay for that boy's education, and one day he would become the great Jiva Goswami. So that was very well spent money. That money was kept aside for Jiva Goswami's education. And 1/4 of his wealth was kept aside in case some emergency may come in the future. Like that. So even Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, though they were very detached and they renounced everything, they also did it in stages. Understand? They did it, they made an intelligent plan how to do it. Some money was kept for emergency like this. And then gradually they became fully, they had the leela of becoming fully independent. They were always, but they have this leela to show us. Stages in life. So then, Rupa Goswami, he left home with Anupam and began to travel towards Vrindavan. So as he was traveling, gradually, he arrived in Prayag. Now Mahaprabhu had already been in Vrindavan. And from Vrindavan he came along the Jamuna, and where the Jamuna meets the Ganga, that is the Triveni, that is called Prayag. And there is a very famous deity, you know, Veni Madhav. Veni Madhav. So, when Mahaprabhu came there to Veni Madhav, he was dancing with thousands and thousands of people and making everyone overwhelmed, overflowing in ecstatic love of Krishna. And one Brahmin, Dakshinatha Brahmin from South India, invited him to stay at his home. Srila Rupa Goswami came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there with Anupam. And when he approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he fell at his feet and was offering prayers. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Nama. I bow down to the golden form of Krishna, who is Mahavadanya, most munificent, most merciful. He has appeared to distribute Krishna Prem to one and all. Yogyanamattham bhuvanam dayalo ulangyam apyakarad pramatam swaprema sampat sudayad bhuteyam Sri Krishna Chaitanya mamum prapade. Rupa Goswami said, the whole world was intoxicated with sense gratification, but now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared to intoxicate everyone with the nectar of the holy name of Krishna and make them become mad with prema. So I take shelter of his lotus feet. So, it's the place where the Kumbh Mela in Prayag. Yes. Every 4 years. So, at that time, there was a great Acharya who lived on the other side of the Jamuna. His name was Vallabhabhatta. He is known as the famous Vallabhacharya. He lives in Aralgaon on the other side. Has anyone been to his house on the other side? So he heard that Mahaprabhu was there and he came there. And he approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when he approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami moved away to the distance. Vallabhacharya respected Mahaprabhu very deeply, bowed down to him and glorified him. And he asked, who is that person? He approached him also too. But Rupa Goswami was, oh, don't touch me, I am untouchable. Mahaprabhu said, you are a very high and aristocratic person. But he is an outcast, he is untouchable. So don't go near him. When Mahaprabhu said this to Vallabhacharya, Vallabhacharya thought, Mahaprabhu is testing me. Because he could see that the name was on the tongue of Rupa Goswami. His tongue was always Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So then Vallabhacharya realized he was being tested and he said to Mahaprabhu, oh, aho bata swapachacho gariyan yad jivate vartate namatu byamte pustapaste juhuvo shashta arya parmanuchu nama grinanti yete. How can he be untouchable? That's not true. Because if a person only once the holy name has come on the tip of his tongue, krik, krik, on the tip, only not the whole name Krishna, only krik, the end of your tongue goes krik. He said, then that person, even if he's born in a family of dog eaters, but it's to be understood that in his previous life, he has studied all the Vedas, he has visited all the holy places, he's done all austerities, and he had all the qualities, 12 qualities of a Brahmin from his previous life, that in this life, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. That in this life he can chant the holy name. And Mahaprabhu was very pleased. And Mahaprabhu said, yes. Name bhaktas tobedi mad bhaktas vapacha priya kasmai dhyam tato grahyam sacha priyo puja sacha priyo yata yaham. He quoted one verse of Shastra which is saying that if a person is a Chaturvedi Brahmin, knowing all the 4 Vedas, but still, if he is not a devotee, a Vaishnav, he is not dear to me. But if a person, even being born in a family of dog eaters, he is a Vaishnava, then that person is very dear to me. Not only is that person a Vaishnava dear to me, but you can give charity to him. You can receive prasad, Mahaprasad from him. And you can worship him as the same as you worship Krishna himself. Krishna is same. He's as worshipful as me. So in this way, Vallabhacharya and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were glorifying the position of Vaishnavas like Rupa Goswami. Vallabhacharya invited Mahaprabhu, please come to my home on the other side of the river and honor prasadam there and bless my home. So Mahaprabhu accepted. So then Vallabhacharya, Mahaprabhu, Rupa Gosvami and Rupa Goswami's brother, Vallabh, Sri Vallabh Anupam. His name was Sri Vallabh, but the Muslims gave him the name Anupam Malik. So they all got into a boat and they were crossing. So the Ganga is coming from this way and the Jamuna is coming from this way, and they had to cross the Jamuna to get to Aralgaon. So when Mahaprabhu saw the bluish color of Jamuna, Brata antakasya patane vipati harini prakshayati papino pipapa sindutarini kanti kandalibir indranila brinda nindini mampunatu sarvadara vindabandha. Oh, like a mass of blue sapphires, the complexion of Krishna. So because Mahaprabhu was in the mood of Radhika, when he saw the Jamuna and remembered Krishna, he began to dance in the boat. And it was a small boat and Mahaprabhu was very big. It was if an elephant will step on a boat. So the boat was rocking and Mahaprabhu, they were trying to hold him, but they couldn't hold him, and Mahaprabhu in ecstasy fell into the river. And they all thought he would wash away, and they're all reaching over the side of the boat. He was very frantic. And they're trying to grab him. And they finally pulled him back into the boat and they were holding him. And he was still dancing and the boat was filling up with water. The boat was almost sinking. But somehow or other they just about managed to get to the other side. And Vallabhacharya was seeing the ecstasy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He'd never seen such ecstasy of prema before. Of course he himself, he has prema, he's very high. But he'd never seen anything like this before. So they came to the house of Vallabhacharya, and there Vallabhacharya did puja to Mahaprabhu and washed his feet and took the foot bathing water of Mahaprabhu and sprinkled it on the heads of his whole family. And then he gave Mahaprabhu some. He gave directly. He told his servant, said, should I offer the bhog to Krishna? He said, he is Krishna. Vallabhacharya said, he is Krishna. And they gave to Mahaprabhu. Afterwards, Vallabhacharya gave the remnants of Mahaprabhu to Rupa Goswami and Vallabha, and they were very happy. And then Mahaprabhu went to lie down and Vallabhacharya was massaging the feet of Chaitanya. Then one Brahmin arrived from a Tirhut. And this Brahmin was a very learned scholar. And he came there and they began to have Harikatha. So Mahaprabhu said, oh, can you recite a verse glorifying Krishna? His name was Raghupati Upadhyay. Raghupati Upadhyay recited some verses he himself had composed. Srutim apare smritim itarei pratamanyei bhajantu bhava bhita ahamiya nandam bande yasyalinde param brahma. Bha! 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 That means wow in Sanskrit. Bha! So everyone was amazed. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very moved. Why? Because he said he was glorifying Parabrahma. So generally when people think of Parabrahma, they think of the Nirvishesh Brahma. But Vaishnavas know that the Supreme Truth is a person. Or maybe people think that Parabrahma is Lord Narayan. So this poet, he said, Srutim apare smritim itare. Some persons are studying the Vedas. And some persons are studying the Smriti Shastras, the Puranas. And some persons are studying the Mahabharata and the Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because they're afraid of material existence. And they're trying to find shelter, how to come out of material existence. But ahamiha nandam bande yasalinde param brahma. What is my process? I am just worshipping Nanda Baba. No, Nanda Baba? Very jolly. He has a beard, which is like black mustard seeds and sesame seeds mixed together, black and white mixed together in his beard. And the belly, and he's very jolly. I am worshipping Nanda Baba. the king of Nandagan. Why? Yasralinde Param Brahma? Because in his courtyard, crawling around, is one baby. That baby is Parabrahma. If you worship his dad, you don't need to worry about material existence. No need of material existence. Nanda Baba ki Jai! Mahaprabhu was very happy. But this verse is expressing the glories of the Vatsalya Ras, the parental love. So Mahaprabhu said, oh, recite another verse. So then Raghupati Upajai said, to whom can I speak? And who will believe me when I say that Parabrahma is wandering around in the bushes on the bank of Jamuna hunting for Braja Gopis? Then Mahaprabhu was very happy. Mahaprabhu asked him, what is the best form of God? What is the best transcendental holy place? What is the best age of the form of God? And what is the best rasa? So then Raghupati Upajai, he said, Shamam eva param rupam puri madhupuri bara vaiha kaishorakam dheyam adya eva paro rasaha. He said the best form of Bhagavan is Sham Sundar. The best place is Brajamandal. Madhupuri means here Brajamandal. Atho Madhupuri Mathura is technically within one forest called Madhuvan. Madhupuri. So here not Mathura. Brajamandal, Madhuvan. So then what is the best age of Krishna's three ages? Balya, Pauganda and Kaishur. Infanthood, where there's the prominence of parental love. Pauganda, where there's the prominence of Sakyaras, friendship. Or Kaishur Lila, where the Madhura, Sringaras, romantic love becomes prominent. So he said, Vayaha Kaishorakam Deyam. One should meditate on Krishna as Kishore. Gopavesha Vainakara Nava Kishore Natabara. That is the eternal original Swarup of Sri Krishna. Kishore Rup. Eternal teenager, adolescent. And what is the best rasa? Adya Eva Paro Rasaha. The best rasa is Adya Rasa. Adya Rasa. Adi Rasa. So Adi Rasa means the romantic love. Sringarasa, Madhurasa. So when Mahaprabhu heard this, he was overjoyed. All the Siddhantas that he wanted to manifest in this world, they were coming in this poetry, and Rupa Goswami was there to see it. So then after that, they returned to the other side of the river. And Mahaprabhu brought Rupa Goswami to one ghat, there, the ghat in Prague, called Dasashvamedha Ghat. Dasashvamedha Ghat. And there, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Srila Rupa Goswami in that place. Now this is very significant. Why? Because it is said that Dasashvamedha Ghat is the place where Lord Brahma was enlightened by Krishna. So in the very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, it says, Tenne Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye Bhuyanti Yat Suraya. It was only he, Sri Krishna himself, who expanded the transcendental knowledge within the heart of Lord Brahma. So the Vedic sound vibration is only manifest to us by mercy. And Krishna manifested that realization in the heart of Lord Brahma. And then Brahma, he was empowered to manifest the whole universe. So, in the very place where Krishna enlightened Brahma and he manifested the universe, in that very place now, Krishna in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will enlighten Rupa Goswami to manifest the universe of Braja Rasakatha. So Srila Kavikara Purna has said, Vrindavaniyam rasakeli vartam kalena luptam nija shakti utka sancharya rupe vyatano punasa prabho vidau pragivaloka shishtim. Just as see Krishna, enlightened Lord Brahma in ancient times to manifest the universe. So similarly, Vrindavanyam Rasakeli Vartam, the Qatar of Radha Krishna's beautiful Nikunja Leela had been lost from the world. And in order to re-manifest that in the world, just as when the universe is in pralay, devastation, annihilation, it disappears and then becomes manifest again. So in the same way, that sweet Leela Kata of Vrindavan, which had disappeared, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested, invested it, infused it into the heart of Srila Rupa Goswami in that very same place. So in the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Tene Brahmaride Adi Kavaye Muyanti Suraya, means Krishna empowered Adi Kavi, the original poet, Lord Brahma, to manifest the universe and realize the teaching of the Vedas. Or it can mean Tene Brahmaride Adi Kavaye, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu empowered the Kavi of Adi Rasa Rupa Goswami. So Rupa Goswami has been glorified there in this Leela in the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Mahaprabhu said, Hey Rup, Para Para Sunya Gabir Bhakti Rasa Sindhu Tomo Chakiti Tahi Kai Ekabindu. O Rupa, the ocean of Bhakti Rasa, Para Para Sunya, it has no shore. If you go to an ocean, you approach by the shore. And if you keep going, you come to another shore. But this ocean of Bhakti Rasa has no shore. It goes endlessly in all directions. Parasunya Gabir. And if you go to the bottom of the ocean, you'll reach the seabed. But this ocean of Bhakti Rasa, it does not matter how deep you go, there's no end to it. Krishna is Ananta. His Leela is Ananta. His Rasa is Ananta. Kim Brahma Jamma Be Ananta Katara Sasya. So he said, how can I describe that which has no shore and no bottom? But anyway, I'll describe, just to give you an idea, I'll describe a single drop. It was as if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the finger of Rupa Goswami, dipped it in the ocean of Bhakti Rasa and said, if you put your finger, there'll be a drop on it. And I said, taste this. And Rupa Goswami tasted it. From that one drop, all his poems, Vidakta Madhav, Lalit Madhav, Ujjwala Nilamani, Stava Mala, Dan Kelly Comedy, just came from that one drop. So Mahaprabhu said to Rupa Goswami that the jiva is, if you take one hair and the tip of the hair and divide it into 100 parts and throw away 99 parts, and then with that one part divide it into 100 parts and again throw away 99 parts, that's how big the jiva is, the soul. And these souls, they're wandering in this material world in many species of life. 8,400,000 species of life. Stavara and Janga, moving and non-moving. So the non-moving are the trees and the grass and the mountains. And the moving, that means the birds and the different various animals and so on. And human beings also. But of 8,400,000, only 400,000 species are human. So they're very little. And of those, most of them are uncivilized. Malecha, Yavanas, French, Italian, Spanish. All outcasts and outside of the Vedic culture. But those who are, some of them, a few are in Vedic culture. And they are considered civilized. But of those who are in the Vedic culture, half of them only give lip service to the Vedic culture. That means they say, I am following Vedic culture, but they're very attached and they are sinning, committing sinful activities. And half of them, they are following, they're trying to follow. But out of those, it's very difficult to find one jnani, one who's actually wise. And out of those, it's very hard to find one of those jnanis who's actually mukta, liberated from this world. No ego at all, completely in a state of liberation. So then Mahaprabhu quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam, Muktanam apisiddhanam narayanaha parayana sudurlabha prasantatma kotishvapi mahamune. That out of 10 million liberated siddhas it's very hard and very rare to find one pure devotee of Krishna. But Brahmanda Brahmate Kaun Bhagwan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasadi Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. If a person is wandering in this universe lifetime after lifetime, then by good fortune he may meet such a pure devotee. And by the mercy of Krishna and by the mercy of that pure devotee, then we may receive Bhakti Lata Bij. What is Bhakti Lata Bij? All our thoughts, our actions are instigated by our sanskars. The collection of the sanskars in our chitta, in our subconscious mind, is called our swabhav. So Krishna said, Swabhavastu pravartate. What is initiating everyone's activities? What is performing everyone's activities? It is all coming from your swabhav, your impressions. But if, by the mercy of a pure devotee, we meet with that pure devotee and they bless us, we take shelter there, and they teach us how to practice bhakti, gradually, then we will receive Vishesh Sanskara, a special impression, a transcendental impression that you cannot get from any worldly experience. This transcendental impression only comes by Vaishnav Kripa. And this Vishesh Sanskara, this special impression, is called Krishna Seva Vasana, the desire to serve Krishna in a particular mood. And that is Bhakti Lata Bij. Before you were under the control of your worldly samskars, but now, by trying to surrender to Guru and serve under the guidance of Guru, gradually, this Vishesh Sanskar, new transcendental impression is coming, and your life will become under the control of that. You wake up in the morning, and instead of thinking, where's my coffee? I want to check my email and watch a movie online, Netflix. You wake up and think, oh, Mangalati. Vibhavari Shesha Aloka Provesha Nidachadi Kuto Jiva. Now your actions are under the control of that samskar by Kripa. So Mahaprabhu said, Mali hoy se beach kare aropan Shravana Kirtana Jali kare se chan. Now when you receive this seed of devotion, you have to become a gardener. And just as a gardener plants a seed and gives water every day, so you have to give water every day to that impression. By Shravan and Kirtan, hearing, chanting and remembering. And slowly it will sprout, and it will begin, that impression will begin to grow. Because it's like a seed. A seed has in it some potential. So, Upajiye Barilata Brahmanda Bere Jai Viraja Paraloka Brahmaloka Bede Paravyoma Pai. Mahaprabhu said, you give water every day. You are sitting here, chanting, hearing, kirtan, harikatha, and that seed is starting to sprout and grow, and it will pierce through the coverings of the universe. The universe is covered by earth, water, fire, air, ether. All the elements are there. That means that your seva-briti, your mood of service, went past Indralok. You don't want to go to heaven and enjoy with the apsaras there or anything. Drinking the somarasa and all those things. So you got free from that desire, and piercing the covering of the universe, it goes into viraja. Now there's no passion, mode of passion. Or Raja, Viraja means no Raja, but Raja, Sattva and Tama all connected. So Viraja means no anything, no Trigun. So you are here and chanting, but your seva-briti, your mood of service has become, no touch of the gunas. Krishna said, Mancho yavya vicharana bhakti yogena sevate sagunam samatitena brahmabhuya kalpate. Those who serve me continuously without any interruption, they go beyond the three gunas, and they come to the level of realization of Brahman. So Viraja Brahmaloka Bhede, then you realize Brahman. Paravyom, and you come to Vaikuntha. But you have to keep going. Tavitaru Parijai Galoka Vrindavan Krishna Charnakalpa Vriksha Karyarohan. then your service mood goes past Vaikuntha. That means, oh, I don't want to serve Bhagavan. God, powerful, riding on Garuda with the Sudarshan Chakra. No, no, no. Api Chaktva Lakshmi Patim. Ito Vyoma Nayane, I give my pranams, but I give up all attachment for the beloved of Lakshmi Devi. Or any Vaikuntha form. No Vaikuntha form. That means that when your bhakti ladder is growing, oh, some branch may come off and start to go to Vaikuntha. So you have to prune it, snip. You know, if a plant is growing in a crooked way, you have to snip. So you have to give up any other moods. Don't worship any other form. Nrsimhadev, Narayan, Sitaram, Jagannath even. No, no, no. Only Radha Krishna. We on Jagannath Rath Yatra, although Nrsimhadev's appearance, we celebrate. But that should not be your Ishtadev. We are doing puja every day, and your mantra, because mantra, Diksha mantra is to your Ishtadev. One Ishtadev, one Diksha mantra. Bas. Bhakti is icantic, one-pointed. So if any other feeling comes, any other mood, by some different types of association, you have to be careful with whom you associate. Then snip, snip, snip. You have to prune your kripa so it will grow straight. There, Krishna Charana Kalpa Briksha Kari Arohan. And then your mood will, just like Krishna's lotus feet are like a tree, and a creeper takes shelter of that tree, wraps itself around that tree. Then flowers will come and fruits. Yaha vistarito haya fali prema fal. Hiyam mali seche nitya shravanadi jal. Then Mahaprabhu said, the devotees in this world, and he is chanting, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. But his kripa has already gone to Goloka Vrindavan, and he is tasting the juicy fruit of the loving service of Radha and Krishna while still in this world. But Mahaprabhu gave a warning. He said, Yadi Vaishnav aparad uti hati mata upari ba chindi tara suki jai pata. If a mad elephant will come, then a mad elephant may break the kripa or uproot the kripa, and then all the leaves will become dry. So what is that mad elephant? Vaishnav aparad. Offenses to Vaishnavas. Never criticize Vaishnavas. What is criticism? Nindanam doshikirtanam. Just speaking someone's faults. You can say, I had never criticized him because what I said was exactly true. No. Sri Gosvami in his commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam said, Nindanam doshikirtan, only speaking the fault of a Vaishnava, even if it's true. It's still a ninda. It's still an offense. So, what you should try to do is glorify Vaishnavas. Be like Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. He said, Vaishnavera nindakama nahi parikani. Sabe Krishna bhajan kari ei matra jani. He never used to let any criticism or any news of some bad behavior of a Vaishnava to go in his ears. He used to just fold his hands and say, everyone is doing bhajan except for me. I have to try better. Everyone else is okay. They all are doing bhajan except for me. Try to be like this. Then you'll be safe. Don't let any criticism come in your ear. If you hear, then cover. Jump in the Ganges with all your clothes on. Or cut out that person's tongue. Or kill yourself. These are the varieties of options. Choose one of those options. Those are the options given in Srimad Bhagavatam. And try to glorify it. If you see your mind is seeing a fault in someone, then you should beat your mind 100 times with a shoe and try to glorify that devotee. If there's even a quarrel between two devotees, don't take sides. Glorify them both. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur said, if there's some dispute or something between two advanced Vaishnavas, don't take sides. Glorify both of them, and if you do this, Krishna will be so pleased, he will give you Divyamati, a transcendental intelligence. How to overcome whatever obstacles or tests are in your life at that time, because difficult problems come. So Mahaprabhu said, be very careful. Don't make commit Vaishnava aparad, because the elephant come. But he said two things: upajya ba uparibar chinde tara sukijai pata. The creeper can be uprooted or it can be broken. So that means if you make an offense which is relatively speaking not so severe, then your creeper can just be broken. But if you make an offense which is severe, then it will be uprooted. But either way, if it's broken, the leaves will start to dry. If it's uprooted, then they'll go completely dry. So this is very practical in our spiritual life. If we're not experiencing taste in hearing, chanting and remembering, if we're not experiencing utsaha, great enthusiasm, then there's a reason for this. It's because we have committed some offenses. And that means our spiritual life became dry. We take the japamala and begin to chant Hare Krishna, but it's like eating sawdust. No taste, no pleasure, no happiness. Why? That means the leaves of the creeper have become dry because of offense to the Vaishnava. So every day, every single day, we bow down to all the Vaishnavas. Vanchakalpatarubhas, Kripasindubhyavata, Putitanam, Pavanebhyo Vaishnava. To stop the elephant coming and smashing the creeper, what can you do? You have to build a fence. If you want to become free from offense, you have to make offense. Okay? So don't make offense, make offense. That fence is sadhu sangha. Because the neophyte devotee will always come up with a justification or an excuse for criticizing. But advanced Vaishnava will never tolerate. Even being in their presence, you cannot speak a criticism. Only if a criticism will come in your mind in the presence of a pure devotee, you'll feel fear. So when we are in the association of advanced Vaishnavas, they protect us. And in Sadhu Sangha, there is anandita anukshan. There's joy at every moment. A person who is feeling joy in their heart doesn't feel like criticizing anyone. This is very important. If you yourself are relishing your devotional life and you see someone do something wrong or hear something, you just go, oh. It's not so important. Tomorrow he'll be better. The heart is soft. There's a generosity there. There's a liberalness there. But if you yourself are dry and you are not relishing, you don't feel happiness, then you seek comfort in glorifying others, that criticizing others. That criticizing others is not really the main purpose. The main purpose is to feel good about yourself. See that fault in that person? I don't have it. Look at me, I don't have that fault. Otherwise you wouldn't be speaking. So, it's very important. Be in sadhu sangha. In sadhu sangha, anadita anukshan. At every moment there is joy. And the joyful heart will not have the tendency to see faults in others. And in sadhu sangha, you can come to the level of madhyamadikar. The Kanishta Adhikari does not understand the transcendental nature of bhakti. But when we enter into Madhyam Adhikar and we understand, we realize the transcendental nature of bhakti, then we see that external material faults in others, they're not serious. They're not important. They'll go away soon. Like spots on the moon. The moon has some spots, but it's still the most beautiful thing in the sky. So a Vaishnava may have some fault, but still a Vaishnava is the best of all the people in society. So, Mahaprabhu said, Nisida chakuti nati jiva insang lava puja pratishthariyat upasakagan. When you're giving water to your creeper, some other creepers will grow there. They are not bhakti creepers, they are weeds. What are those weeds? Nisidachar. performing some forbidden activities. There are certain activities for Vaishnavas, they're forbidden because they make the chitta unsteady. Then you cannot meditate. So nisidacha, then kutinati, duplicity, jiva hingsan, envy towards others. Jiva hingsan means envy towards others and even violence towards others. What is violence towards others? Not going out on Harinam Sankirtan. That's violence to others. If you don't go out and do Harinam everywhere and preach the glories of the holy name, then you're looking at the people and they're just drowning in the ocean of material existence. If someone is on the curb, they're about to step out in front of a bus. What do? Oh, never mind. Splat. No, you say, oh, stop, there's a bus. Pull him. Otherwise, if you let him go in the wrong direction, then you have committed violence by neglect. So our acharyas say jiva hingsa, the violence to the living entities, is not to preach, not to do kirtan everywhere. Make prasadam, invite people to your home, make programs all the time. Then you can avoid jiva hingsa by following Mahaprabhu's order, jiva doya, kindness to all living entities. So, nisidacha kuti nati jiva hingsana, labha puja partistadi jatu upasakagan. One tries to get some wealth by devotional service. I'll make a CD and sell it and I'll make $1 million. Kirtan CD. Labha puja, others should worship me, pratishta, honor. Don't you know I am a senior devotee? I joined a week before you. So, all of these, the feelings come. I am the senior most, everyone should honor me, should give me respect. So you are watering the creeper, but you're watering the weeds. So these have to be uprooted very carefully. We have to be introspective. Look at ourselves, what am I doing? So Mahaprabhu gave all these instructions. Then he began to explain to Srila Rupa Goswami about Bhakti Rasa. Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya and Madhurya. He described the ingredients of each one. Today I will not go into all the details of this. Maybe we'll go to Berlin next week and we'll have a festival there for 6 days. If you want to come, everyone please come to Berlin. And we'll celebrate Janmashtami in Berlin and Prabhupada's birthday in Berlin. And then we'll go to Prague as well. It's very close, only 16 euros away from Berlin on train to Prague. So just come. So, where are we now? Yes, we're in Prague. Prayag, see. So, Mahaprabhu was instructing Rupa Goswami about all the different rasas and how Madhu ras is the highest. In fact, each ras is superior to the other because each ras contains the ingredients of the previous rasa. In Shantaras, there's Krishna Nishta and Trishna Tyag. Krishna Nishta means the mind is fixed on Krishna, and Trishna Tyag means you give up thirst for the material world. Then, in Dasyaras, these two ingredients are there, plus Mamata, possessiveness. Krishna is mine and seva. Because in those in Shantabhav just meditate, they don't do any service. So Dasyaras is high as Mamata and seva. Now the next one, Sakyaras, has all of those four ingredients, plus Asankoch Bhav. That means no hesitation. A servant hesitates. They cannot sit on the same seat as their master. They cannot eat from the same plate as their master. They cannot taste something and they try this and give their remnant. But in Sakya, there is Asankoch Bhav, no hesitation. And the Atma Samgyan. Atma Samgyan means the feeling that you and me, we are the same. We're equal. The coward boys and think that Krishna is a coward boy, I'm a coward boy. We're the same. What kind of big man are you? I can defeat you in wrestling. You have to carry me on your shoulders. My father has more cows than your father. So these are the ingredients of Sakyaras. And then all those ingredients are there In Vatsalya, plus, actually, Atmasangyan, thinking that you're equal, is not exactly there in Vatsalya. In Vatsalya, you think you are better. Parent is better, knows much better. So two ingredients come, and that is palan poshan. I have to nourish you. I have to take care of you. You are not qualified to make your own right decisions. I have to give you some guidance, and if you don't take the guidance willingly, then taran barsan. Taran barsana means I have to discipline you and rebuke you and twist your ear and make you go the right way. This is the parental mood. So palan poshan and taran barsan, nourishment and protection, and on the other hand some chastisement and rebukes are there. And then in the highest mood, madhu rasa, all the ingredients of the other rasas are there, plus what? Kanta bhave nijang diya karna sevan. In Kanta bhav, then the devotee can serve Krishna with the whole body. The gopis can offer their whole body in Krishna's service. So madhu rasa is the highest. And there is the Yathotarama Soswada Vishesh Ullasamaya. In each rasa there is Vishesh Ullas, more joy, more joy, more joy, and the most joy is in Madhu rasa. So Mahaprabhu explained all these things and gave Rupa Goswami 4 missions: to go to Vrindavan and look to Tirtha Udar, discover the lost holy places. Vigraha Prakash, manifest the lost deities. And Bhakti Grantha Pranayana, write the books describing the glories of pure bhakti. And finally, the Vaishnav Sadhata Stapana, establish what is the correct behavior for Vaishnavas. So Rupa Goswami, Sanang, and the other Goswamis together, they fully fulfilled these missions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Vrindavan. So then Mahaprabhu, he went back to Puri, and Rupa Goswami went to Vrindavan. After some time, Rupa Goswami was going to Puri to meet with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there. On his way, he came to the village of Satyabhamapur. At that time, Rupa Goswami was writing a drama about Krishna Leela in Vrindavan and how he goes to Mathura and then to Dwarka. In the dream, Satyabhama came to him and said, write a separate drama about me, and by my blessing it will be extraordinarily beautiful. Rupa Goswami woke up. What happened? And then when he came to Jagannath Puri, Mahaprabhu said to him, Krishno nyo yaru sambuto na puna sostata para vrindavanam prachajja sakwachin naiva gacchati. He said that the son of Vasudeva and Devaki in Mathura is one, and Krishna in Vrindavan is another. Krishna never leaves Vrindavan even for a single moment. Then Rupa Goswami understood, what Satyabhama told me, make your drama in 2 parts, one based in Vrindavan and the other one about Satyabhama in Dwarka, first in Mathura and Dwarka. You make a separate drama. And now Mahaprabhu has told me the same thing. So then Rupa Goswami said, I'll have to divide my drama into 2. The first part became Vidagdha Madhav, and the second part became Lalit Madhav. Now, when Rupa Goswami was in Puri, Rath Yatra took place. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing before Lord Jagannath. And he was crying. And he was singing a verse. And this verse is from Kavya Prakash and Sahitya Darpan. It is a book from, these are texts of Prakrit Alankar Shastra. They're mundane poetry. It's not about God. So it was just mundane poetry. But Mahaprabhu was singing this worldly rasa poetry in front of Lord Jagannath. So it was very astonishing for everyone. Mahaprabhu, he said, Yaha Kaumara Harasaiva Ivarasthaiva Chaitakshapas Teichun Melita Malati Surabaya Prauda Katamba Nila Sachaiva Smitatapi Tatra Surata Vyapara Lila Vido Reva Roda Sivetasi Tarutale Cheta Sumutkantate. Only Swarup Damodar understood what his mood was in the previous Rath Yatras, but now Rupa Goswami was there for the first time. And now the relationship between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami. Try to understand. How is the relationship of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami? It is exactly like if there is a musician and they're playing some instrument and they're spontaneously composing a tune. First, the tune comes in their mind, and exactly as it comes in their mind, then it's coming out from the instrument. What is in their mind, it's coming out from the instrument. The expert musician is like that. So in the same way, whatever is coming in the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming in the heart of Rupa Goswami and out from his pen. Another example, if there's a tanpur, you know tanpur? Yeah, I was just playing this modern tanpur here. So, but the tanpur has a long string, it's connected at the top and the bottom. If you pluck the tanpur string, then that vibration will touch both ends simultaneously. So in the same way, the vibration of Prema, which is coming in the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, same time coming in the heart of Rupa Goswami. And then out from his pen. So, though no one could understand, except for Swarup Damodar, what Mahaprabhu was relishing at Rath Yatra, Rupa Goswami realized it and he wrote a verse explaining. Prayaso yam Krishna sahachari kurukshetra militas tataham saradam tadidam ubayo sangama sukham tatapyanta kelam madura maduri murali panchamajushe manome kalindi pulina vipinaya sprihayati. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in the mood of Radharani meeting with Krishna at Kurukshetra. After long separation, Krishna has left Vrindavan. He was some years in Dwarka, and then he came to Kurukshetra at the time of the solar eclipse, and Radharani and Brij Basis came on their bullock carts and to Kurukshetra at the same time, and Radha Krishna secretly met. So at that time, Radharani is speaking to her Sakhi, Vishaka, Ya Kaumara Hara Saiva Ivarastha Eva Chaitakshapas. That person who stole my childhood, Ya Kaumara Hara, that person who stole my childhood. When in the beautiful moonlit nights in the season Chaitra, month of Chaitra, in the spring season, when the Kadamba forest was full of flowers and the gentle breeze was there carrying the fragrance of Kadamba and jasmine flowers also, and we went inside a very dense thicket of rattan cane, and there, though I was not married to him and he was not married to me, but by force he took my childhood. That means the first experience of romantic love, the amorous love, means child is over now. So Yakomara Hara. Hara means stealing, means that Radharani was not giving voluntarily. Means Krishna by force. Hara, stealing. So in this verse, all the ingredients of Parakya rasa are there. One, they're not married. And two, in married life, the wife offers herself to the husband. But in Parakaras, when they're not married, then the heroine increases the desire of the hero by being in Bhamyabhav, contrary, in Man, having a contrary mood. So this is all these things are indicated by Komara Hara. So, but in this verse, this is a mundane verse, actually not about Radha and Krishna, And one woman is saying that before I was married, I met with my husband secretly and we became very intimate. And later I married him. But now I'm not feeling the same excitement that I did in those days. I remember how glorious it was when we first met. And she's kind of complaining that now her life is not as exciting with her husband as it was before in those days. So it was shocking that Mahaprabhu was saying this mundane verse, which is actually rasa bas, according to mundane poetry, because there's some adharma, there's some transgression of dharma there. So you cannot have the poetry which is against dharma in Vedic arts. But Mahaprabhu was singing this in front of Jagannath. But Rupa Goswami knew he was expressing the mood of Radharani at Kurukshetra. So Rupa Goswami wrote a parallel verse. Priyaso yam Krishna sahastari Kurukshetra militas. O Vishaka Saki, here I am at Kurukshetra. I am the same Radharani and he is the same Krishna. And we are meeting in the same way as we did in our youth, in Vrindavan. But I am not fully satisfied here. Why? Because I want to be on the bank of Jamuna, in the beautiful forest, where Krishna is playing the fifth note on his flute. Sarigama. This note is very arousing. So, because at Kurukshetra, Krishna is dressed like a prince, with armor, with chariots and horses and elephants and soldiers and generals and rishis and priests and especially 16,108 wives. So, Radharani, I am the same Radharani, you are the same Krishna. And it's we're meeting together and it's wonderful, but, oh, I wish I were in Vrindavan. This was Mahaprabhu's mood. And Rupa Goswami wrote this slok down on a palm leaf. And Rupa Goswami, though being from a Brahmin family, he could go into the Jagannath temple. But because he considered himself a servant of the Malechas, the outcasts, he never went in the Jagannath temple out of humility. And he used to stay with Srila Haridas Thakur in what is now Siddhabakul, in one straw hut there. And because Haridas Thakur was actually born in a Muslim family, he would stay together with Haridas Thakur. So one day Rupa Goswami, he had written this verse and he stuck it in the thatch of the roof. And then he went to take bath. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived to see Srila Haridas Thakur. Though Haridas Thakur could not go to see Jagannath, but Lord Jagannath in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to come to see him personally every day. So Mahaprabhu came there with Swarup Damodar. And Haridas Thakur bowed down to him. Then Mahaprabhu said, what's this sticking out from the roof? And he pulled out the leaf and he looked. And he was amazed. Then Rupa Goswami came back from taking bath in the ocean. And he gave pranam to Mahaprabhu. And when he lifted up, then Mahaprabhu slapped his face. And he said, oh, how did you know? Very affectionately. How did you know my heart? And then he turned to Swarup Damodar. He said, Swarup Damodar, how did he know my heart? Swarup Damodar said, Phalena parigiyate. You can know what type of tree it is by the fruit. So because he has produced the fruit of this verse, then it's very clear that you must have given him your full mercy. Then Mahaprabhu said, oh, it is true. When I met with him in Prayag, that time I gave my full mercy. So, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad, he says that Krishna Tattva Bhakti Tattva Rasa Tattva Pranta Sabashika Ila Prabhu Bhagavat Siddhanta. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught to Rupa Goswami all the Siddhantas of the Srimad Bhagavatam in regard to Krishna Tattva, Sambandha, Bhakti Tattva, Abhideya and Rasa Tattva. The Prayojana, the Prema Rasa. So Ramananda Pasijata Siddhanta Shunila Rupe Kripakori Prabhu Taha Sabha Sancharila. Whatever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had heard from Ramananda Rai when they met on the bank of the Godavari, all of that Mahaprabhu heard from Ramananda Rai, Mahaprabhu infused into the heart of Rupa Goswami. So all the rasa is coming like that. From Vishaka Sakhi, that is Ramananda Rai, to Mahaprabhu, and then from Mahaprabhu to Rupa Goswami, and then he has manifested his transcendental Shastras. So, this is the illustration how Prabhureka Rupe, Swavilasa Rupe, Rupa Goswami's heart is one with the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like the string of a tanpur. What Mahaprabhu is feeling, it's coming in the heart of Rupa Goswami. So in the same way, as Rupa Goswami is perfect disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by Shiksha, not Diksha, but by Shiksha. In the same way, we should try to become perfect disciple of our Gurudev. One should serve the spiritual master in such a way, with such surrender, with such devotion, making one's heart completely empty of all other thoughts and all worldly identity. Like Krishna's flute is empty, it can be filled with the nectar of his lips. In the same way, the disciple should make his heart completely empty, so that the bhav of Gurudev can overflow and fill the heart of the disciple. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, yasya prasadat nagati kutopi. Jayam stubam stasyaya sasti sandam, vande kuboshi charnara. So, Rupa Goswami and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they're giving the example. Sadguru, Satsishya. Perfect transcendental spiritual master, perfect transcendental disciple. There are so many pastimes in Puri, but we are running out of time. We'll tell more on Monday. We'll come back on Monday and speak. Sunday. Sunday. Maybe we'll come on Monday as well. It's Baladev Purnima, let's see. So we're just trying to touch an overview of Rupa Goswami's life, and on Sunday we'll go into more details of his Avadan Vaishishya, the speciality of his contribution. After staying with Mahaprabhu for about 10 months in Puri, then Rupa Goswami went to Vrindavan, and he never saw Mahaprabhu again directly. In his heart he's seeing Mahaprabhu all the time, but he used to stay in Vrindavan and crying. Hare Krishna Sucha Spurana Rasana Rasika. He would pray. Sadopasya Srimandrita Manuja Kayai Pranaitam Gir Bahadvir Girvana Girisha Prabritivihi Sobhaktebhya Shuddham Nija Bhajana Mudram Upadisham Sachaitanya Kimme Punarapadisho Yasyati Padam. When will Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again walk onto the path of my eyesight? He is worshipped by Lord Shiva in the form of Advaita Acharya. He is worshipped by Lord Brahma in the form of Haridas Thakur. All the devatas are worshipping him. And for his nearmost and dearmost intimate disciples, he has become the Bhajan Shiksha Guru, showing by his own example how to enter deeply into Raganuga Bhakti. So Rupa Goswami was always feeling separation from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vridi yasya prairanaha pravatitoham baraka rupopi tasya hare padakamalam bande Chaitanya devasya. In the beginning of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami is saying, "Oh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is inspiring in my heart. I am writing that. So my pranams to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu." So now Rupa Goswami is staying in Vrindavan and writing on palm leaves his beautiful poetry, whatever Mahaprabhu is inspiring him to write. And when Rupa Goswami used to write about the separation of Radha and Krishna, he was weeping so much that even the trees in Terakadamba, the leaves and flowers, the petals used to fall from the trees when Rupa Goswami was crying and describing the separation of Radha and Krishna. And then when he was describing the happy meeting of Radha Krishna, then the leaves would grow back and new fresh flowers would burst onto the trees. So Srila Rupa Goswami, in his poetry, he has given such bhavs that have never been expressed before. And especially, he has described Radhika's bhav and the revealed the bhav of the manjaris. So in this way, Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale, Radha Bhav and Radha Dasya. These are the fulfillment of Mahaprabhu's inner desires. How to describe Radhika's bhav? We'll try to give a little insight. Do you have some time? Yes? Rupa Goswami said that the foundation of love is rati, the staya bhav. Whatever practice you are doing, it is to get the rati, astaya bhav. Rupa Goswami gave the definition of sadhana bhakti. What is that? Kriti sadhya bhavat satya bhava sa sadhana bida nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakatyam riti satyata. When the senses are engaged in hearing, chanting and remembering, all the angas of bhakti, for the express purpose of attaining one sadhya bhav, the one bhav which is the goal of your life, then it's called sadhana. If you are just chanting in a random way, thinking about where you'll go shopping later in the day, this is not sadhana. Even if you're chanting and remembering God, but you're not praying to attain the particular mood of an associate you want to follow, it's not sadhana. Sadhana is kuti sadhya bhavat sadhya bhav. Nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakatyam. When you are hearing and chanting, remember one pointed towards your goal, that you will become like one particular associate. So, when that bhav appears, Rupa Goswami describes Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma Prema Suryangsu Samyabhak Ruchi Vischittamasunyas Kridaso Bhava Uchate. That ecstatic mood is the essence of Samvit and Hladini. And it comes in the heart and makes the heart melt with so much taste. And this mood never goes away. It is your permanent mood in one of the 5 rasas. Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, or Madhurya. So Shanta Rati, Dasya Rati, Sakya Rati, and Vatsalya Rati or Madhur Rati. Now, when that Sthayi Bhav mixes with 4 other ingredients, Vibhav, Anubhav, Sattvika Bhav, and Vyabhachari Bhav, and it becomes, by the mixture with those ingredients, it becomes rasata, that means extremely relishable, then rati turns into, that is bhav, turns into rasa. So this is the difference between bhavmaya bhakti and rasamaya bhakti. Bhavanaya padeyastu bodhenanyanya buddhina bhavyate gada sanskaraistite bhava sakatyate. When a person is meditating, doing smarna, with ananya buddhi, one pointed attention, and they are searching out the samskars, garda sanskars, deep impressions in their heart, which came from listening to Harikatha from pure Vaishnavas in this life, and you also have to search out the samskars from the previous life. If you don't have samskars also from the previous life, rasa will not manifest. So then, by searching out these deep sanskars in meditation, then all the ingredients of ras, that is your relation with Krishna, the vibhav, anubhav, sattvika bhav, they begin to manifest. But then, vyatiti bhavana vatma yaschamakara bhavabu jitesu chachale bharam swajate saraso mataha. When more Shuddha Sattva comes, more Vishuddha Sattva starts to flood the heart, then all those ingredients, they mix together, and the rati, that is bhav bhakti, turns into rasa, and is very, very relishable, and it is the chamatkar, astonishing, most astonishing. So Rupa Goswami described this Dahi Bhav and how it turns into Prem. Now what is Prem? Rupa Goswami described Sarvata Dvangsa Rahita Satyapi Dvangsa Karne Yad Bhava Bandhanayuna Sa Prema Parikirtita. Prem means that all the causes for your love to be broken are present, but the love is never broken. So whatever Krishna does, he may come late, he may not show up at all, he may go and meet with another gopi, but Radharani cannot stop loving him, whatever he does. So Prem is that which is never broken. So then Prem, it becomes more intense and becomes Sneha. Sneha means when the heart melts even more, that such a slight touch, either seeing or hearing or even just remembering, and the tears just start flowing from the eyes. This is called sneha. And then pranay. Pranay means there's vishramba, there's so much confidence that you feel that my body and your body are one, my senses and your senses are one, my mind and your mind is one, my heart and your heart is one, my soul and your soul is one. There's no sankoch. It is asankoch. There's no hesitation at all. That is called pranay. And when this pranay becomes more intense, then it takes on the kautilya abhas. That is a semblance of crookedness. And the lover and beloved, they start to be very contrary with each other. Not out of just crankiness, but it's an intensity of love. When pranay starts to shine even more, then this kautilya abhas comes. The contrariness. And it's very, very beautiful. That is called man. So Rupa Goswami has described Dampantayo ekatra satyo apyanuraktaya sobista slesha vikshadi nirodi mana uchate. The hero and the heroine, they are together in the same place. The hero and the heroine, they have deep love for each other. They want to look at each other and embrace and talk. But an emotion comes that stops them. That is called man. So it's amazing. Because if two people are together and they don't love each other, or they don't want to look at each other. But if they are together and they love each other, but they don't. That's astonishing. So this man is one kind of vaichitta. It's an astonishing feature of praying. So man, and then rag. Rag means when the love is so intense that which would be be a cause of pain becomes a cause of pleasure, and that which would become a cause of pleasure become a cause of pain. For example, in Vedic culture, when a young girl is getting married, then she is very happy. But because in Vrindavan, all the gopis are in love with Krishna, then that's supposed to be a very happy occasion. It is like taking poison. Oh no. I don't want to move from my mama's house to the mother-in-law's, to the sasral. And on the other hand, that which is a cause of pain becomes a source of happiness if it gives you a chance to meet with Krishna. Just like once, Lalita said, "Oh, look at Radharani. She went running up to the top of Govardhan Hill. The stones are very sharp like razor blades. And the hot sun is shining and making them hot like burning coals. And Radharani has very soft, bare feet. And she's running up on those stones. But she feels as if she's standing on soft lotus petals. And she's not moving. Because in the distance she can see in the valley, Krishna is there playing with his friends. So that love that makes pain into pleasure is called rag. And when that becomes more intense, then it's called anurag. Anurag has so many symptoms. In anurag, then the lover becomes one has such a thirst to drink the sweetness of the beauty of one's lover, that it doesn't matter how much you drink, you think you did not drink any drop at all. In fact, his beauty is so much newer at every moment that even if you meet with him, then the next moment you think you did not meet with him, and the next moment you wonder, who is he? Radharani said to Lalita, "Oh Lalita, you know there's a village in Navadvip called Kobla, Kobla village. So Kobla village comes from the Sanskrit Kobala. Kobala means who's that boy? And that's in Rituri where Radha Kund is. So Radharani in Anurag, she says to Lalita, Kobala, who's that boy? Lalita said, what are you talking about? You just spent the whole night with him. You just came from his lap. Radharani said, don't make fun of me, don't ridicule me. Lalita said, I'm not ridiculing. I personally brought you by my own hand and put you in his lap. You have been with him the whole night. Radharani said, oh, maybe. It may be. But it seems as if the whole night passed like a flash of lightning. Actually, Yogamaya made the night like the night of Lord Brahma millions of years. But afterwards, it was like a flash of lightning. And I was not able to drink even one drop of his beauty. Alas, this is a anurag. So anurag, and when anurag becomes more intense, then it becomes the Mahabhav. Mahabhav has three features. Anuraga, swasandeda, dasam prapa prakasita, yavadas ashraya vritis jet bhava itya vidiyate. The meaning is that there is a swasamvedya dasha. That means that Radharani, she sees Krishna and he's so beautiful. But when she sees him, her love increases and increases more and more. And she forgets herself and even forgets Krishna, and she's just absorbed in tasting the sweetness. And then her anurag starts to look at her own anurag. And so her own sweetness, which is newer and newer every moment, is tasted by anurag, which sees that tasting as newer and newer at every moment. And so she goes, it's that experience of Mahabhav is indescribable, and it can only be known by the one who is experiencing it. So it is called Swasamvedya Dasha. Swasamvedya Dasha and Prakashita. Prakashita means Radharani has all Astasattvic bhavs at the same time. That means stamba, trembling. Sweda, perspiration. Romanch, hair standing on end. Swarabhanga, voice is choking. Vepatu, trembling. Pralay, becoming completely unconscious, losing consciousness. Asru, tears coming from the eyes. And Vaivarnya, that means Radharani is golden, but sometimes she changes colors in her bhav. If she's meeting with Krishna and she hears Abhimanyu is coming, then she goes completely white. Then Abhimanyu sees it and walks straight by. And one thinks, why he didn't recognize his own wife? Because his wife is golden and he saw a person who was white like a conch shell. So in this way, Radharani's own sattvic bhav saves her from being caught by Abhimanyu. So these are the different sattvic, and all 8 sattvic bhavs, they come in Radharani at the same time. That is called udipta bhav. So that's the second symptom of Mahabhav. And then the next symptom is called Yavadashray Vritti. That means that whatever she's feeling, that vibration comes out from her, and if anyone is close enough to see or hear her, they become pervaded with her experience. So her experience is transferred to them. So that is called Yavadashray Vritti. And Radharani's praying comes Mahabhav, Rudabhav, Adi Rudabhav, Modan, Mohan up to Madan. And in Madanakya Mahabhav, one of the features is Sarva Bhavud Golasi Madano Yam Paratpara. That means that all the previous moods of Rati, Prem, Sneha, Man, Pranaya, Raga, Anubhav, Bhav, Mahabhav, they all come at the same time. That's one of the features of Radhika's Madan. There are other features, but I'll just touch on that tonight. So now, I've just given a brief discussion of all these different stages. So I want to give just one verse of Rupa Goswami, and in one verse, everything is there. All that I've just described about Radharani's love, everything is there in one verse. So Ravananda Posi Jato Siddhanta Shuliya, Prabhu Rupa Kripa Kori Taha Sabha Sansariya. We said that whatever Mahaprabhu heard from Ramananda Rai, that's what he gave to Rupa Goswami. You meet together in a very beautiful kunj in the Govardhan hill. You meet together like 2 maddened elephants. Like when the king of elephants meets with his mates, they play in such a way. You know, Radha Krishna's Leela is always compared to the intoxicated play of the king of elephants with his mate. Why? This illustrates the density of Avesh. When elephant is enjoying with his mates, then doesn't notice anything that's going on. Nothing can disturb. So Radha Krishna are so absorbed in their loving pastimes, the density of their avesh is impregnable. They don't know anything but each other. Even they don't know who am I. Na so Ramana, na hama Ramani. They become so absorbed in relishing each other's sweetness. So, oh Radha Krishna, oh Krishna, when you meet with Radhika in the kunjas at Giriraj Govardhan, you are like the king of elephants. And at that time, Shringar, that means romantic love himself, has become an artist. And just as an artist who wants to decorate a mansion, first he takes shellac and he begins to melt the shellac, and the shellac mixes together, and then he takes some red vermilion and he pours the red vermilion into the mix of the shellac and he mixes it together, and then he paints the inside of the mansion. And when the mansion is painted, if anyone comes inside that mansion, they look and they go, it's amazing. So here Brinda Devi is saying that Sringar, that is the romantic love himself, is an artist, and he's taken Krishna's heart and Radhika's heart like shellac, and then he's heating them. And how did he heat them? Through Radha Krishna's own perspiration, the heat of their own perspiration. And now the two hearts of Radha Krishna have slowly melted and they've become one. And they've forgotten, who am I? Sometimes Krishna thinks I am Radhika, and sometimes Radhika thinks I am Krishna. They become confused. Sometimes Radhika will play the role of Krishna and Krishna will play the role of Radhika. And so now their hearts are mixed together. They've forgotten, who am I? And the artist has mixed in the vermilion into their love and painted the universe. Painted the inner walls of the mansion of the whole universe. So the meaning is this. Now all the stages of praying Rupa Goswami has given in this poem. Why? First of all, Rati, the Tirobhav, that is the artist. Just as an artist has a palette with different colors on and he mixes them to make his paint, so your Tirobhav is the artist. And all the Vibhav, Satvikabhav, all the ingredients of Ras are mixed together on the platform of Rati. And it becomes Prema. Now what is Prema? So Rati is the artist here. The next stage of love is Prema. What is Prema? Prema is that love, that all the obstacles are there, that it should be broken, that relationship should be broken, but it's never broken. That is indicated here by Radhaya Bhavatas. Oh Radhika, you're meeting with Krishna. You should not meet with him because you are married to Abhimanyu. So this is a cause for your relationship to be broken because you have to marry someone else. But the love was never broken and you're meeting with. So Prema is indicated here. Prema, then Sneha. Sneha is characterized by the melting of the heart. So here it is said the artist is taking the two hearts of Radha Krishna and melting them. Now, Vilapya Kramat, that means they're melting slowly. Why are they melting slowly? They should melt quickly, but they're melting slowly because Radharani has some man. If Radharani has heard that Krishna went to meet with another gopi, then when he comes, then Radharani's, when she finally embraces him, she's happy to embrace him. But it's like a tapta ikshu. Tapta ikshu means hot sugarcane juice. If you have sugarcane juice and it's very hot, then you sip it. And it tastes so sweet. It's so sweet, but it's burning your mouth. But it's so sweet that you cannot, so hot it's burning your mouth, but so sweet you cannot spit it out. So in the same way, when Krishna meets with Radharani, but she knows that he visited another gopi first, she's burning with some jealousy. So the burning is there, but Krishna's so sweet she cannot get rid of him. So because of this, the melting of the heart sneh is melting slowly because Radharani still has some man. Slowly this man goes away and then pranay comes. So Rupa Goswami is saying, Nikunja kundrapate nirduta veda brahmam. In your loving pastimes, the idea that there's a difference between you is washed away. So now Radha Krishna are playing And Radhika thinks, oh, Krishna's body is like my body is like Krishna's body. We are one heart, one mind, one senses, one soul, everything. And without any hesitation, now they're playing together in the Nikunj. So, the Rati, Prem, Sneha, Man, Pranay, Rag. Here, Rag is the red color, the vermilion that the artist is adding, because Rag means deep love, and Rag means red also. And Rag in the advanced stage is Anurag, that makes every experience newer and fresher at every moment. Milata milata milavo chahe, mili milana kibu, miliras kabara prema so prachinapar pool. When Radha and Krishna meet, though they're meeting, they still want to meet. And though they're meeting, they feel as if they have not met. And praying by Chitya comes. Ankasti tepi daite kimapi pralapam ha mohaneti maduram vidadatya kasmat shamanu ragamadhavivala mohanangi shamamani jayati kapi nikunja sinni. Radharani is in the lap of Krishna, but she becomes so absorbed. Oh, his words are so sweet. And she becomes absorbed in the sweetness of his words that she cannot even experience Krishna, only the sweetness of his words. And then she thinks, where did Krishna go? And though she's sitting in the lap of Krishna, she starts to cry, Ha Mohan, where are you, where are you? So this is though they are meeting, but they feel that they are not meeting and become desperate to meet. This is the meaning of the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna means Radha and Krishna are meeting. Hare Krishna, Radha Krishna meeting. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Now Radha, Krishna is separate and Radha is separate. No, they are not separate. They are still meeting. But Radharani is calling, Krishna, Krishna, where are you? And Krishna is crying, oh, Hare Hare, Radhika, where are you? Because of Anurag. So here, this is the vermilion that makes every moment new. And each moment is forgotten and we never met before. So then this is Anurag. And then it becomes Mahabhav. Now how is this poem describing Mahabhav? The three symptoms of Mahabhav we said. First, the Swasambedya Dasha. In Swasambedya Dasha, then Radhika forgets who am I and who is Krishna. So Rupa Goswami wrote, Neduta Beda Brahmam. There is no mistake of thinking that we are separate from each other. Then Prakashita, that is indicated by the word Sweda Kramat, that their perspiration is melting their hearts, because the swayed by upalakshan, by association, indicates trembling, becoming stunned, faltering of the voice, becoming pale, and all the astasattvic bhavs are indicated by that word swayed, perspiration. Then the last one, Yavadashray Vritti, that when the artist has painted the inside of the mansion, if anyone comes in, they go, oh, how wonderful. So in the same way, Rupa Goswami is saying, Radha Krishna's love has decorated the inside walls of the whole universe. In other words, when Radha Krishna meet in Vrindavan, then Radhika's praying is so powerful. It spreads throughout the universe. It covers beyond the coverings of the universe even. The demigoddesses in heaven are crying. Lakshmi Devi in Vaikuntha is trembling by the waves of Radharani's praying. But they cannot know what she's experiencing. Who can know? So Rupa Goswami Pada has said, Vrindavane vihayato hi akeli kunje mahata dvipa pravara kautuka vipramena sandashayasya yuvayo vadanarabindam thanvam videhi mahidevi kripam pasidha. Rupa Goswami is praying, oh, when will I be there as Rupa Manjari, and looking through the Randra, Jalarandra, that means the lattice windows of the Kunj, and watching the beautiful, ever-fresh pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Pranayamayavayasya kunjarandra pitakshi shititalamanulabdananda alanda murcham patanti pratirata vidadhano chestita chitta chitrae smarati nibrita nikunje Radhika Krishna Chandro. Rupa Goswami Pad saying, oh, the maidservants, like himself as Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari, Labanga Manjari, they come and they gather around the lattice windows of the Kunj and they look inside and see the beauty of Radha and Krishna's embrace. And seeing this, they become so ecstatic. Chititalam anulabdananda murcham patanti. They become so ecstatic. Why? Because Yavadashray Vriti, the power of Radharani's prema, spreads out and it pervades them completely. And they faint in ecstasy and fall to the ground. All the manjaris are lying on the ground here and there unconscious. So this is what it means that the whole universe was painted red, and when you see it, you will faint. So in this way, in one verse, Rupa Goswami has described Radhika's Madanaki Mahabhav because it includes all the other stages and the specific symptoms of her prema. There was never any kavi, any poet before who has manifested this. Therefore, in the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Tene Brahma Rijya Adi Kaviye Bhuyanti Yatsuraya. It is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who inspired in the heart of Rupa Goswami, the Adi Kavi, the Kavi of Adi Ras, Sringa Ras. And when the devotees hear that poetry and realize the sweetness of Radha Krishna, Bhuyanti Yatsuraya, they all faint. It's there in first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhuyanti Yatsuraya, the devotees faint. So, Srila Rupa Goswami, in the end of his life, his last poem is his best poem. It is said that the song of a swan is very beautiful, but the last song that the swan sings just before they pass away, that is the swan song, that is the most beautiful song. So in the same way, the last poem of Srila Rupa Goswami is called Utkali Kavallari. And there he has opened his heart. So Rupa Goswami in the beginning he says, Prapadya Brindavana Madhyamika Krosanna Sav Utkalika Kulatma Udghatyami Jwalita Kuturam Vaspasyamudram Ridimuditasya. I am here alone in the forest of Vrindavan. Oh Vrindavan, I am taking shelter of you. And I am feeling great pain. My heart is in extreme distress. And now I am going to open my heart, Udgathayami Jwalita Katuram, and show the scars. If very, very hot water will fall on you, then you will have scars. So Rupa Goswami said, now I am going to open my heart and show the scars in my heart which have been burned there by the hot tears of separation I am crying inside. This is Utkali Kavallari. And there, step by step, he's showing bhajan. First, remembering the roop of Radha and Krishna. There are several verses describing the roop of Radha and Krishna. And then the gun of Radha and Krishna. The qualities. Then the parika, the associates of Radha and Krishna. And finally, the Prema Mohi Seva, loving service in the Leela of Radha and Krishna. Very beautiful. Rupa Goswami Pad said, Sathoyam na viksha punaya manama radanaya Vishantam stri vaisham subala suridam suridam giraya Vishantam stri vaisham subala suridam varaya gira Idam tesa kutam bachana avadaruch chalitadis Scalatopa gopa pavaram avaratsyami kimaham. When will that day come? When Krishna has been less than excellent in his behavior. We have a very strong suspicion that he went to visit Chandravali. So Radharani has become very upset. And she's calling Rupa Manjari. Rupa Goswami said, when will Radharani call me? Come here. She cannot say to Lalita and Vishaka, because sometimes if there's a quarrel between Radha and Krishna, Lalita and Vishaka, they may sometimes go on Radharani's side and sometimes on Krishna's side. But she can count on Rupa Manjari. Because Rupa Manjari will always be on Radhika's side. If Krishna is wrong, she'll be on Radhika's side. And if Radhika is wrong, she'll still be on Radhika's side. If Radhika is happy, Rupa Manjari is happy. If Radhika is sad, Rupa Manjari is sad. If Krishna is happy but Radhika is happy, she's happy. If Radhika is happy but Krishna is not happy, it's okay. She'll always take the side of Radhika. So Radhika called, hey Rupa Manjari, come here. Shato yamna veksha punarya manama nadanaya. Krishna is Shat. Shat means a person who is very nice to my face, but behind my back he's making so many offenses. So, Shatoyam na puna hiha veksha. I don't want to see his black face here again. I have my pride. So, go and guard the gate of my kunj and make sure that if Krishna comes here, he cannot meet with me. But be careful. Vishantam Sri Vaisham Suridam Subala Suridam Bharaya Gira. Krishna, she does not say Krishna. She says the Subal Surit, that friend of Subal. She's so angry with Krishna, she doesn't want to say his name. That friend of Subal is so crooked, so offensive. I don't want to see his face here again, but be careful. Vishantam Sri Vaisham. He may borrow some clothing from his cousin, Kundalata. You have to also be careful of Kundalata. Krishna's cousin. She's also Radharani's friend, but because she's Krishna's cousin, sometimes she's like a double agent. So she may lend some of her clothes to Krishna, and Krishna may come dressed up as a gopi, so then when he comes to the gate, he'll walk straight in. But watch out for him. He's very tricky. And if he comes and speaks very words like honey, very sweet and very persuasive words, Avadayuch Chalati or Rupa Manjari, make your heart very hard like a stone. Don't listen to him, don't give in. So then Rupa Manjari very dutifully bowed before Radhika and went out to stand on guard, watching. Gopis are coming and going. Then Rupa Manjari saw, there's one Shama Sakhi, a gopi with a very beautiful complexion like a fresh rain cloud. And then she looked and noticed, oh, it's Krishna. So then Rupa Manjari called out, hey Mohini Murti! Because you know in Srimad Bhagavatam, Supreme Lord takes a female form of Mohini Murti to cheat the demons of the nectar and give the nectar to the devatas. So Rupa Manjari called, hey Mohini Murti! There are no demons here, so your services are not required. So I think that you should go back where you came from and meditate on your sins. You meditate on your own faults. So then Krishna will come and speak very sweet words with tears in his eyes to Rupa Manjari. Many pastimes. One day, Rupa Gosvami was writing a poem. And he wrote, Nava Gaurochana Gaurim Pravarendivaram Baram Manistavaka Vidyoti Venivya Langana Sanatana Goswami Pad said, "Oh, my dear Rupa, what are you writing? Let me see." He looked. Navagorochara Gaurim. The complexion of Radhika is like fresh Gorochana. One golden pigment that comes from the hooves of the cows. Navarendi Varambaram. And her cloth is like a blue lotus flower. Manistavaka Vidyoti. And on the top of her long beautiful braid, there's an ornament of jewels that makes her braid look like the jewels on the crown of a black serpent. Sanatana Goswami Pad said, "Oh Rupa, a black serpent makes everyone fearful, but Radharani makes everyone happy. A black serpent is full of poison, but Radharani is full of nectar. I think that this simile isn't not appropriate." So then Rupa Goswami said, "All right, can you suggest an alternative?" So Sanatana Goswami took his pen, but he's a great poet, he wrote so much, but he was just completely out of ideas that day. "I can't think of anything now, I'll think about it and I'll tell you later." Then the Sanatana Goswami, he was going to around Govardhan and he came to Radhakund. And just when he came on the north bank of Radhakund, he saw some beautiful girls were playing, and one was sitting on a swing and the others were pushing her and singing. So he saw behind her there was a deadly black snake, and he ran, "Oh Lali, Lali, be careful, be careful." And suddenly they all disappeared. There were no beautiful girls, no swing, no snake. Everything disappeared. And then he realized that he had the darshan of Radhika, and the Sakhis were pushing her on a swing, and her veni, her braid, actually was like a black snake with the jewels on the top. Then he came back to Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami said, "Can you change this?" Sanatana Goswami said, "Whatever you write is fine with me." The meaning of this pastime is that Rupa Goswami is not making some creative literature. Every word that he wrote, he realized it first and then he wrote it down. Not like people today that write so many books, even having no realization, they're making books like chapatis. But Rupa Goswami is seeing everything and then writing. So every single word of Rupa Goswami is invested with the Vishuddha Sattva. And if you take shelter of his poetry by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga and the parampara of Rupa Goswami, then each word will manifest in the heart like a mantra. So Rupa Goswami in this poem, that's the first verse of Chatupushpanjali, but in the last verse, he said, "Karanam muhu ate param thava brindavana chakravartini apikeshi ripayor yaya bhavetsa chatu pratana bhajanam jana." In this poem, Rupa Goswami has glorified Radhika, her complexion, her cloth, her braid, her smile, her eyes, her ornaments, the way she walks, the way she eats tambul, everything. And then in the end, he says, "Oh Radhika, oh Vrindavan Chakravartini." Chakra means the wheel and Varti is the axle, because everything rotates. So Radharani is Vrindavan Chakravartini. That means in all the Vrindavan Leela, everything rotates around Radharani, including Krishna. So Radharani is Vrindavana Chakravartini. She said, "Oh Vrindavana Chakravartini, oh Radhika, just..." Radharani said, "I am very pleased with you, I want to give you a benediction." And Rupa Manjari is praying that if you want to give me a benediction, then give me this benediction, that before Krishna can meet with you, just as I have offered you many flattering sweet words glorifying your complexion, your clothing, your ornaments, your hair, your smile, your eyes, in the same way Krishna will have to flatter me in order first, before he gets a chance to meet with you. When Radharani heard this request, she thought, very good, tatastu, so be it. So Rupa Manjari is so clever that she never wants anything from Radhika. Even the benediction that she gets is a benediction that will please Radhika. Because if Krishna will have to flatter Rupa Manjari like this before he gets a chance to meet with her, then that makes Radharani's status go up and up. So when Krishna was dressed as a Shamasaki and could not get in, then Yat Kinkarishu Bahusha Kaluka Kahani. With tears in his eyes, he has to flatter Rupa Manjari like that. Nava Goro Chana Gorim Pravarendi. Your complexion is like fresh Gorochana. Or Rupa Manjari, your cloth is like this, your ornaments, your smile, your eyes. But Rupa Manjari is remembering the words of Radharani. Make your heart very hard. Don't let him into my kunj. So in this way, see Krishna, who is the controller of all the worlds, who gives mercy to everyone. He's begging the mercy of Rupa Manjari and under the control of Rupa Manjari. So that very Rupa Manjari came to this world as Srila Rupa Goswami. How powerful is Rupa Goswami? And on this way he has disappeared. So in this way, I am offering my Pushpanjali, offering of flowers at the lotus feet of Rupa Goswami. This is the Pushpanjali of this very brief and insufficient, inadequate glorification. And I'm praying that Srila Rupa Goswami may sprinkle his mercy on me and may sprinkle his mercy on all of you, that we can serve the lotus feet of Guru and Gauranga forever. Srila Rupa Goswami Pada ki jai, Bale Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai, Varasani Wali ki jai, Jai Jai Sri Radhe. So these were the last words of Rupa Goswami before he disappeared from this world. But he left this treasure with us. Try to follow him fully, outwardly, from the beginning. Ado Sraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. First with faith, association with Vaishnavas, passing through Anartha Nivritti, slowly, until this gift of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that Mahaprabhu wanted to give will come into the heart for those who will follow Rupa Goswami. Rupa Raghunatha Padi, Hoibe Akulte. If someone is eager to follow in the footsteps of Rupa and Raghunath, then Kavi Hama Bojabo Sa Yugala Priti. Then we will understand the Yugal Priti, beautiful love of Kishore Kishori Ju. Hare Krishna. Yes?
You mentioned something about sanskaras and going inward and searching the sanskara.
Yes, I saved it for tomorrow. Sunday.
Can you give a small example just on that today?
It's very important. It's very important. We'll be discussing, I already prepared the Monday's class.
Okay.
So there's a verse of Rupa Goswami, Pranktan aduniki chasti, yasya sad bhakti vasanaha, esha bhakti rasasva das seva ridi jayate. The taste for bhakti rasa rises in the heart for those who have samskars from this life and the previous life. So in the commentaries of Jiva Goswami Vishwanath Chakravarti, they've analyzed how these samskars come and the thickness of them, how they become illuminated and how they lead to the realization of bhakti rasa. So Rupa Goswami, he has written, what is that? Bhaktanam Ridhi Rajante. Bhaktanam Ridhi Rajante Sanskara Yugalujvalam. That these two types of sanskars, Bhaktani and Aduniki, they have to become illuminated before one can taste rasa. So that explanation and the commentaries, it will be the first part. Because the first part of the class is always Tattva Siddhanta and the second part is always Lila. So on Monday, we'll be looking at all those verses that examine that subject in detail.
Sunday.
Sunday, yeah, Sunday it's here. Excuse me, it's Sunday here. Monday is Balaram Purnima, so it will be another topic, Balaram on Monday. Acha. So, but you can see those verses and you can prepare. What time? 4 o'clock. Oh.
3:45 may be better,
Yeah.
no? Because
Come
live
at
stream
3:45. At 4 o'clock, I'm starting a broadcast. And it's a course that I'm giving on Nam Tattva. And it's part 3 of a course on Nam Tattva. And then after that, then I'll be speaking on Rupa Goswami again. So it's actually 2 classes on Sunday. So we'll start early at 4 o'clock.
And which scripture?
Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu.
Bhakti Rasamrita.
Yes.
Which
Everything.
way?
It's the second wave.
Southern division?
Second wave, yeah. Sorry, no, it's the second division. First wave. But the verse number I don't remember. Second division, first wave. Bhaktana aduniki chasti. Yasya sad bhakti vasana, esha bhakti rasasvada, stasya varidijayate. Rupa Goswami is described about the ingredients of rasa. Now he wants to show how one attains it. Then, another question? No? Good. Then we'll see.
About this gata samskars, even when you heard from such self-realized souls, but afterwards you feel you didn't hear anything, how the hearing should be that you can count them as gata samskars? Are these also gata samskars when you don't really hear and you even did not see that, oh, I was in the association of such a soul and I could not really hear from him? Does these things, if you have such kind of impression,
Because
this is also gata samskars?
no, because the Konishta Adhikari is not doing Uttam Bhakti. When the faith is very strong and the disciple is very surrendered, then the impressions will slowly come. And Nishta, Ruchi, now in Ruchi you start to experience a little bit. And then the actual experience of the Gada Sanskar will come in the stage, in Asakti, in the end of Asakti, and then in Bhav.
So when you are Kanishta Adhikari and you meet very elevated souls and you hear from him, then those impressions are not gata samskars.
Impressions can be there, but you cannot access them because there's too much covering of anartha. So always there's benefit in meeting with great souls. But if we are not surrendered and we have bad habits, we're not following, what to speak of Raganuga Bhakti, Vaidhi Bhakti, what to speak of Raganuga Bhakti, then that's why Rupa Goswami in Upadeshamrita has described that Vacho Vegam, Manasakroda Vegam, Jiva Vegam, control the tongue, don't get angry, and all of these things. And especially Atyahara Prayasascha, Prajapunya Magraha, overeating and over-endeavoring in mundane activities, associating with worldly minded persons. All these things, they destroy bhakti, they spoil bhakti. So you can't, though some blessing is there, but you cannot access it. Because to access Gada Sansa, you have to have Ananya Buddhi. We discussed that early in the class. Bhavanaya padeyastu buddhain anyanya buddhina. Until the chitta becomes completely stable, then one cannot access the Gada deep samskars.
So what is the sadhana of someone who cannot access?
It's according to their stage. From Shraddha up to towards the end of Anartha Nivritti is Konishta Adhikari. And then Nishta is the Madhyam Adhikari. And then Ruchi is Uttam Adhikari. Yeah, that means Uttam Adhikari, the highest eligibility to perform Uttam Bhakti. I'm not speaking about Madhyam Bhagavat, Uttam Bhagavat. We're speaking about three types of Adhikar, the eligibility to perform Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti.
No. Yeah, I don't know what timing, but
It's 11.
it's 11.
No, 10.
10.
10, sorry.